Hi, beautiful people. So moving on from the story from yesterday about the nail, the 7-inch nail in the foot of the man, what does that actually mean, and what does that actually? What can we take from that story? And this is the kind of pain is created in the brain concept, which is really, really interesting. And you know, actually, scientists recently have discovered this. This is the work from Howard Schubiner, which is he had his famous book on chronic pain, which is Unlearn Your Pain, and also psychophysiological disorders. So he's a mind body doctor, and very, very has a lot of research in this area. So what is pain, right? So the signal of this man was the signal was wrong, was faulty, right? So what can we see about pain? Pain is obviously needed to protect us from things that may create which may damage us, right? So from a hot stove, you obviously move your hand very quickly from a hot stove because your brain is signaling to your body. Sorry, your body is signaling to your brain that there's something there. We need to, to get it out of the way, right? So it saves us from further pain and further injuries. There's a function there. We have to remember when we have pain, there's always a function and there's always a reason for that signal. It's not a stupid brain, right? It's very, very clever. So for example, if you have an injury and you get a sprained ankle, but there is a lion in the bushes, the brain will switch off the pain and start, for you to be able to run as fast as you can so that you can get yourself from that height away from that lion and survive, right? So it's the brain actually chooses pain, when to turn pain on and off. When you're like, what? The brain can choose? Well, this is really, really, really important to kind of get, right? The brain can choose whether or not to give the signal of pain to, to the body in a life and death survival situation, right? So it's a function. There's a function there, right? You actually choose whether to have pain or not. Again, this is not, this may trigger you, and it's not a choice, it's not a conscious choice, it's actually from the subconscious mind, right? The part of the mind that runs our heartbeat and our nervous system and our digestive system and all the things that are below consciousness, all the kind of automated functions of our body. So it's not conscious choice, even though you can start to bring in awareness of that, and you can of the choice, and you can start to actually work with that part of your body, which is what I do in my program, my Wisdom of Pain healing process. So the neuroscience of pain has shown that it's a signal, and and the faster we get that signal, the faster we get that it's a signal and not something we just want to get rid of, the faster we can heal. So obviously the pain is electromagnetic message from the nerves. When we put our hand in the fire by mistake, we pull our hand out within milliseconds before we even thought about it, right? So that protecting us from it, and it's the transmission of the information through the nerves of the body, right? Burning signals pain, right? So this is again, it's kind of automated, right? The man who's been chased by the lion, and has hurt his leg, or has had a accident, and has the pain is switched off. The brain chooses that the biggest danger at that moment of time is actually the lion, and not the broken ankle or the injured ankle, right? So the bigger threat is survival rather than the sprained ankle, and so the pain is turned off, which is really, really important. The switch is in the brain. The pain can be turned off and on So the control it's controlled by the brain when to turn it on and when to turn it off, right? Which is really, really clever most of the time. Right? So the brain is a clever device that obviously helps us to relay information from the body, right? But in certain cases, obviously, there's chronic pain, and chronic injury has been overcome and been healed, and yet the pain is still remains, as we all know. We've all had chronic illnesses or chronic symptoms, and so it's one of the most prevalent problems in our Western world is chronic back pain. So it's really kind of important to realize, though, that the brain is creating the pain, right? So I'm going to move into the next part of this episode tomorrow. This is vital to get because it's signaling something that the signaling has kind of gone faulty in a way, and we can also be aware that there are lots of things that we can do since it's in the brain, it's created in the brain. We can do the awareness of that shifts everything. And again, this is not to say that it's all created in the brain and there's no pain, because as we all know, there is pain, and it's not faking it or making it up in any shape or form. And it's also not the fault of the person who has chronic pain. There's not something ultimately inherently wrong with them. It's actually a very, very common and very normal phenomenon, unfortunately. And yet this also means that there's a real condition, but there's real treatment, and real healing can happen from it. Just like I got over my 18 different symptoms of chronic pain and diseases or diagnoses that I had. And you can do the same. So I'm going to invite you to join me tomorrow on the second part of this, how the brain creates pain, and move on together. See you tomorrow. Bye.